Hello, everybody. This is the MLBeers podcast, and this is going to be a special one, isn't that, Phil?
Oh, yeah. We got a couple people joining us today.
A roundtable discussion, if you say. So, of course, I'm Andrew Sherman, co-host. We have Phil Corwin as our co-host. And we have our two special guests here today. We have Alex Workman are you from KC? Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
And then Brian Plumley, if I can actually speak to
you don't have to say my last. You just call me Brian. That's fine.
Well, we're gonna stick to first names. I just wanted to be formal and introduce y'all.
It sounds exactly how it's spelled, I guess. So, I don't know.
There you go. So, of course, we're gonna ask Alex first. So, Alex, who's your favorite team? Who's your favorite player? And what's your go-to beer?
My favorite team is KC. My favorite player actually is Salvador Perez because he's an everyday kind of player. He's always with a smile on, and regardless of what's happened, he's always classy. You might not understand a word that comes out of his mouth, but you don't need to understand anything that he says when he has that kind of smile and that kind of attitude. So,
yeah, those 2012 days when he first got called up, his interview, man, those were tough.
Oh yeah, they were rough listening to because you didn't understand it.
No.
And it didn't matter because
it's gotten a lot better. His English has gotten a lot better though.
True, very true. Go-to beer. I'm really into stouts, and though sours are really pretty awesome as well. I make a pretty good stout, and it's hard to find somebody to drink them with. So.
Well, you have
that
me.
shouldn't be a problem between the four of us.
Yeah, exactly.
That works.
And I didn't ask this, but what is your Twitter handle so we can find you on Facebook and the listeners can find you on Facebook?
Facebook?
And Twitter.
I mean Twitter. Man, I'm having a day. It's this beer.
On the Books of Faces and Twitter, it's Scouting the Taps. So scouting, I'm looking for the taps. So Scouting the Taps.
I like that. I like that handle very much.
Thanks.
Okay, so mine is it's Senior Lumpy, all one word.
Nice.
There's really only one of me, I think. There might be like Senior Pepe or some bullshit like that, but it's not him.
And I think that might be the first time that we've had a cuss word within 5 minutes of the episode. So that's a win right there. So anyway, Brian.
Oh, we're not allowed to drop. Okay.
No, we can.
Yes, you can. We have it listed as not safe for work. So.
Yeah, that was the one thing that even though we do kind of keep it tight-lipped around here, we do occasionally throw an F-bomb or two here and there, especially when I have to go rant mode on my Cardinals. But anyways, Brian, so who's your favorite team, favorite player, and your go-to beer?
All right, favorite team is San Diego Padres, unfortunately, but...
Hey, there's no unfortunately here.
I was going to say, I think we're all in the same boat right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. As far as my favorite player of all time, it would be Tony Gwynn, just because he struck out, 4 times throughout his whole career? I mean, the guy never struck out.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right. Stats.
Yeah, he did all right. And during a strike season, if they would have played out, he would have hit 400, but...
Really?
Yeah. He was hitting 396 but when they went on strike, he was hitting 390 something. So.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the name of the beer that they're making over in California. I can't think of the actual.
AleSmith.
Yeah, AleSmith.
Oh really?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, they're brewing a beer. Tony Gwynn Jr. is helping them brew it too. It's like
nice.
the 395 pale ale. And then Junior is making a session IPA.
That's cool.
So a pale ale. That's pale ale on that's high on ABV.
Depending.
I'm all about that. I'm not about
high ABVs.
Oh yeah, I had I can tell a quick story. I lived in Germany for 3 years, and I was in Belgium. We drove over to Belgium, and I went to this gas station. I was looking for the strongest beer they had because I had this rumor of 14%er. I found it. When we were driving back from Belgium, my wife had to wake me up when we got home because I was not like moving. Once I drank that 14 and a half, I was done.
Yeah.
It was in a big can too. It was like
Oh,
this tall.
nice.
And it tasted
Nice.
like wine. So I mean, it wasn't wine, but I assumed it was beer because it fizzed. I don't know. It was interesting.
Regardless, you got drunk on 14.5%, so it's a win-win in our book.
Yep.
Hey, I mean that's your triples right there over in Belgium. Get that nice 8 to 11. It's pretty damn good.
Oh, I agree. Anything? Because this one I'm drinking right now, it's let's see, Omi Gang.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At Cooperstown.
Yeah, they're this one is 9.5. So
There you go.
Nice. I think I
the-
actually almost got that one.
Nope.
it's pretty good. It says it's supposed to taste like an ale, but at the back end it tastes like an IPA. So I don't know what's going on there.
Nice. So is that your go-to beer, or do you have something else?
Oh, I bought it for tonight just because of had to be all classy and shit. So had to get something that came in a 4-pack. You know, once it comes in a 4-pack, then you're like, okay.
I mean, we're trying to be classy with our nice glasses here, with my Boulevard Tulip glass. So
There you go.
I stole this one from Odell when I was out there about 2 years ago.
you didn't steal it; you borrowed it. Let's get that right. There's no such thing as stealing these days.
Oh, wait a minute.
Especially in
I'll
the
be right
beer.
back. I gotta go get something.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is gonna be a first.
This
I
could be
don't know
good.
I don't know what's gonna happen here. I am really, really surprised what's going to happen here.
But we were talking earlier before we started recording about like a lot of beers starting to add coffee to them.
Mhm.
Logboat again brewed a Snapper, their IPA with coffee in it.
Oh yeah. I had Snapper last night. I want to see what it is with coffee in it.
Now
with
is that
coffee in it, man. Have you ever had like a cold brew out of a can?
Yeah.
You know how it's kind of light?
Uh-huh.
It was like that, but with the IPA kick.
Oh wow. Yeah, I just made a red ale with coffee in it, and you smelled the coffee. You didn't get any roast. It was really pretty good. I'll have to brew it again, and you'll have to come up and have some.
Do it. Yeah, I just had some interviews. I had a phone interview last week up there, so.
Okay. Awesome.
nice? Did you hear back from Mothers, by the way, Phil?
No, they never emailed me back.
All I can do is shake my head.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, no, I gotta go give my fingerprints up this week to the police station. So
woot woot.
background
Or
background checks, man.
Or whoop whoop. Whichever you want to go with. I mean,
We can do the Ric Flair woo.
I might add that later on. So
There we go.
I'll
Get some
keep-
soundboards in here.
That's what I've been wanting to have as a soundboard, but I don't think right now this computer can handle a lot of things going on. All right, Brian, you're back. What did you bring?
Yeah. I didn't find it. It was what it was a big Paulaner mug I stole from Oktoberfest in 2006.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, nice.
I wouldn't say stole, but everyone did it. But I mean,
Again,
make it right.
Tactically
we're just
acquired. Tactically acquired.
yeah,
commandeered,
exactly.
yeah.
Because those mugs are really, really nice.
Yeah. I had my wife. She took I took two. One was a Paulaner, another one was another brew house I didn't recognize. And she was like, "I don't want to carry it. It's so heavy." It's just like, "Come on, let's do it."
Just do it.
Just
all
do
the
it.
kids are doing it.
Everybody's doing
That's
it.
why you got to get your wife to like carry a big purse and just have them stuff the glasses down in there.
You'll fit two in there if you got a big purse, because those things they get heavy.
My wife has a big purse, and then she has a smaller purse inside that one.
Okay, that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. I once found a stale as hell Pop-Tart in there. It was probably in there for months.
Maybe that's her food purse. She has a normal purse for everything, then she has a food purse.
There's,
You notice something about that where you would expect just alien come down to Earth and you see women are probably the fairer of the creatures, and you're gonna like, okay, maybe they're cleaner. How many times have you seen like those Instagram pictures or the pictures on Twitter where some chick's taking a selfie in her mirror and her room is just trashed? Looks like she was raped in there. It was just it's like, why the fuck are you doing this?
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, that was shit. There we go. I didn't say I did. I just said it looked like she was physically assaulted against the eyes of the law.
Or physically assaulted by her clothes. So let's bring this back down to PG.
So we're moving on. What are we going into first? Talking about surprising teams and players of the month of April.
Before that, I just hope that everybody that listens to this doesn't think we're juvenile delinquents or criminals. But anyways, we've all done something bad in our lives.
I've been arrested 5 times.
Wow.
I can be like Tupac and I got shot 9 times, but that never happened. So anyway,
I was never shot.
Getting back to the podcast at hand. So before we get into all the surprising players and teams, I was going to go down the standings real quick. So in the American League, in the East, Baltimore leads actually is tied with the Yankees with a 16-9 record. Then Boston is third. Well, I guess second or third, however you want to do the whole ties system. But anyway, they're 14-12. Tampa Bay is 14-14, and Toronto with an abysmal 9-18. In the Central, the surprising team, the Chicago White Sox, 14-11. Minnesota Twins are 13-11. Another surprise team. The last year's AL pennant winners, Cleveland Indians, are 14-12. Detroit's the same with 14-12, and then the Kansas City Royals, 2 years removed from winning a World Series, and now they're 8-17. In the West, the Houston Astros are 18-9, first in the division. Then you have everybody grouping up right in there with the Los Angeles Angels being 15-13, then the Oakland A's being 11-15, Seattle 11-16, and Texas 11-16. So on the National League in the East, of course we have the Washington Nationals. I wanted to say Senators. I think that's a better name.
Expos.
The Washington Expos. Maybe that should be the expansion team later on. But anyways, the Washington Nationals are 17-9. Then the Philadelphia Phillies are 12-13. The Atlanta Braves are 11-14. The Miami Marlins are the same. And the New York Mets, another surprising team that has gone downhill in a way, are 11-15. And now to the Central, we have the Chicago Cubs 14-12. The Milwaukee Brewers 14 even. St. Louis in third with 13 even. Then the Cincinnati Reds are fourth with a 12-14 record, and Pittsburgh is in fifth with the same record as the Reds. And, of course, the final division, the wild NL West, we have Arizona leading the division 17-11, then Colorado leading 16-11. The Los Angeles Dodgers with an incredible win last night, which I watched late into the night, are 15-13. The San Diego Padres are 12-16, not in the cellar like everybody thought. And then the San Francisco Giants, to round it out, are 10-18. So, of course, that brings us to who are the surprising teams out of this. We're over the 20-game mark, probably almost to the 30-game mark. So who are your surprising teams, first of all? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. I was honestly surprised by the Arizona Diamondbacks. I know they just lost Shelby Miller to Tommy John, but I think in my original standings, I didn't have them anywhere close to the top.
I believe that you had them in third when you did your projections. Well, your predictions.
But they're getting great production out of Goldschmidt, Pollock, and Owens, and Jake Lamb, and Yasmani
Tomas.
Yeah, there you go. He's coming in at at 281. They got a bunch of guys just hitting home runs out there, but it all depends on how their bullpen and their starting rotation is going to be able to recover since Shelby Miller is going to be out for the year.
I mean, really, to be honest with you, I didn't think Shelby Miller was even a key factor with that rotation.
No.
He's been middle of the road since that trade. So, what can you do, right?
Right, but that's when you have to rely on your pitching depth, and hopefully they have someone who can get that for him.
Mm-hmm. So, who wants to go next? Brian, you go next. Who's your surprising team?
Right now, San Diego, because with their starting pitching and a bunch of I think 3 Rule 5 guys, and they started off with 4 catchers on their roster. They're 12-16. I think that's a pleasant surprise for any San Diego fan, just because when you buy a pitcher for a year at $1.75 million and you do that 3 times, you're looking for trouble, because those are like really tired arms, like Jared Weaver. The guy can't pitch past 86 miles an hour. I probably could pitch 86 miles an hour right now, and I'm a I'm a pudgy little guy over here, and I could probably do that.
Then you guys last year you went out and got James Shields too. That was bad.
Yeah,
that was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
They dumped him off last year
to the White Sox. Yeah,
to the White Sox.
Yeah,
they cleaned house.
I always get those mixed up, if it was James Shields to the White Sox first or James Shields to the Padres first. But I mean,
he was something else.
You're going with the Kristen Bethencourt experiment.
Yeah, that failed miserably, and as I knew it would. I mean, you don't go from a position and then to pitching. The reason that happened was last year that Padres were getting destroyed like 17-0, and so he went in there and struck out the side or something like that, and so everyone was like, "Oh my God, he's a good pitcher," and so they tried to put lipstick on a pig, and it didn't work out too well. And,
I think the last catcher that went to pitching was Kelsey Jansen.
Mm-hmm.
He was a catcher in the World Baseball Classic for, is it the Netherlands? I can't remember who he played for. Yeah. And, you see what he turned out to be, because, the catcher's got to have that strong arm, but if you can't locate, it's not going to work out.
And I think that's part of his problem, is that he was in high – before it was just like, hey, just go out there and suck this up, and see, he did well. So now he's pitching in a position where maybe the Padres have a 1-run lead, and you put someone in like Christian Bethencourt, you can't expect him to be seasoned like the veteran relievers behind him. He's going to get smoked.
Especially if he hasn't been pitching up until this point, last 2 years. So
yeah,
that's quite the adjustment when he's already in AAA.
Yeah, you just don't pull somebody out of high school and put them on the battlefield. It just is not going to work out well.
Exactly.
So if that is everything, Brian, unless you have something you want to say.
About what?
I thought you had more remarks to that.
Oh no, that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, they're in a rebuilding season for the next 2 to 3 years, and so the hope is always, they're going to be good in 4 to 5 years. But
you always
sucking
hope,
up,
right?
Sucking up like the Astros did. That's pretty rough. But
yeah.
Hey, look at them now. So Alex.
Yeah, they're in first.
So who is your surprising team?
Unfortunately, I have to go with the Royals, because they're right now the worst team in baseball. And that just kind of sucks for me. So it's just kind of really bad. But when you only win 16 games in an entire month, or lose 16 games in an entire month, it just is really, really kind of surprising for a team that really kind of moved the line along for so long. When you're producing not even 3 runs per game, and your opponents are going almost 5 per game, you're not going to win any games that way. We barely squeaked out 7 the last month, and we've already lost. We're on our way to losing another one, I guess. I don't have much hope for this game, and we're 1-1 in the month of May, and it's day 3. So yeah, our pitching's not doing anything at all. We're not doing any sort of run. We're trying to hit everything to the fences, and it's just not going well for anybody. So I think we actually somebody just struck out and made it to first because we couldn't get the ball. So there's that.
Butera is catching tonight, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, because Butera with Alex is out, and I want to say Orlando's in center or something like that. Yeah, weird lineup going on.
It is Salvi, but it's Carnes on the mound, and he threw something in the dirt.
Oh, okay.
But it happens.
Throwing it in the dirt.
I got him to chase and strike him out. He did his job.
But the question is, he didn't get him fully out if he dropped the ball and couldn't get to first.
Well, that was Perez's fault at that point.
Still.
Yeah. Well, it hit his foot, Salvi's foot, and went back to jumped in the air and all the way back to the backstop.
Oh, that's just unfortunate.
Okay,
that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, that sounds more of misfortune than anything else. I thought it was just it just literally looked like he laid an egg and just went around it without noticing it. So, all right, so
but that sums up our season though so far.
Yeah.
There's a lot of baseball left. There's a lot of baseball left, and that's
very true.
And that's why I have to keep focusing with my Cardinals. But they are not my surprising team because I kind of already knew this was going to happen. So my surprising team, after all of this, and I'm not going to pick the Arizona Diamondbacks because that was, I had them 4th in my predictions. But I have to say the New York Yankees. 16-9. Aaron Judge already has 13 home runs in 26 games. And I was just really surprised how well they've been doing so far. Of course, Yankee Stadium, you always want to win at home, and they're proving that with an 11-3 record. But when they get outside on the road, they're 5-6. I think another thing that's really surprising is that besides their young guys coming in and actually hitting the ball instead of having, that delayed freshman year, the rookie year, everybody's just clicking. And even with the pitching, they're clicking. I mean, Luis Severino, Masahiro Tanaka, CC Sabathia, even though I would think Sabathia is a bit outdated, he's still doing well for them.
Oh, yeah. You got Aaron Judge, who is 7 home runs away from his career high in the first month of the season.
That's just ridiculous with that team. And that's really the reason why I have them as the surprising team. Because like I said, I predicted them 4th. I thought there was going to be some growing pains. And there might be. They might, hit June or July and just slump back in the 4th. But I just don't see that happening at this moment where they're doing so well. That's just me.
All right. So now we got, favorite and surprising teams out of the way. We'll stick with you, Andrew. Who's your surprising player and, or your MVP of the month?
Okay, MVP of the month. First of all, the MVPs of the month by MLB, if I remember correctly, is Aaron Judge and Ryan Zimmerman, if I'm correct, or Bryce Harper. I know it was a Nationals guy. But I have to say, with the cool confidence, Freddie Freeman. And the reason why he has 30 out of 110 plate appearances, he has 34 hits, 10 home runs, he has 16 RBIs. His batting average is a 378. His on-base percentage is a 491, and his slugging is 811. And his walk rate is a 16.4, and his K rate is a 15.5. So, and he doesn't get much attention because he plays on a somewhat crappy team with the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, that's hard to look at. But what I was looking at, I was going to stick with Aaron Judge
Mm-hmm.
just for the simple fact that he's at 99 plate appearances and he already has 12 home runs. His career high, including his minor league, he only hit 19 home runs. But what's surprising is he dropped his strikeout rate from like 40-something% last year to 26.3. He has a walk rate of 15.2, and he's a batting average of 313.
And that ain't bad at all. And again, that's why I said the Yankees are my surprising team, is because the front runner Judge.
Yeah. And, when you're getting that kind of production out of is he still considered a rookie? Does he still have rookie eligibility?
I don't believe so.
But, regardless, he's getting his second year in the league. So just the way he's hitting right now, and I did look at it, MLB players of the month were Mike Trout and Ryan Zimmerman.
Okay, yeah, I was close. I was close.
But yeah, but like I said, Aaron Judge if he can keep this kind of production up, he's going to live up to that hype of that top prospect, Stanton type prospect.
Let's just hope the Yankees play smart and don't give him Stanton money, and then he gets injured.
Yeah.
So, Alex, who is your surprise player of this past month?
Who are you asking? Alex?
Alex, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was going to go with Judge because I've seen he's made so many plays that you just see on SC Top 10, and he catches the ball and will throw. Like, I think I've seen him throw a double play from right field, right?
I believe so.
And
yeah, he has.
He also, on his birthday recently, just flipped over the edge of caught it on a short with a short guardrail, caught the ball and flipped into the stands, and then it was just he's an amazing player to watch, and with his power, it's just really pretty awesome that having 13 home runs. But then if you look at Zimmerman, 93 plate appearances, only a few less home runs than Judge, but you would think that on a team like the Nationals, it wouldn't the name you would hear wouldn't be Zimmerman. It would be Bryce Harper or somebody else like that. So
And
that's
Zimmerman,
a pretty awesome thing.
Yeah, Zimmerman was the man for the Nationals back in 2008 and 2009 when they first incepted. He was their big, he was their face of the franchise, and then
when I got out of college, but that was a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I was still sitting in high school.
Yeah, that happens.
I think I just barely got into high school.
And he was a man. He was a man for the Nationals, face of the franchise. But the last couple of years, he's been dealing with shoulder injuries, so that really messes up your swing.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
And if that is,
Oh no, I was just gonna segue into Brian unprofessionally because we don't do it right.
I mean, what can you do, right? What can you do?
I can't do anything right, so there's that.
Right. I caught my dog eating spaghetti off the table just right before we got on, so she doesn't do a whole lot right either.
So, Brian, what is something that you do right? What is the surprising player that you think that you have?
Lie down before you hurt yourself.
Yeah, what? Yeah, you're kind of breaking up there. What is this, like a personal philosophical like Sylvia Plath question here? What's going on here?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
We're
who's the
all
player
gonna have
that you
existential
chose?
crisis.
Yes.
About halfway through the show. Then we're gonna cry together and sing "Kumbaya" at the end.
You stole it away from me. You stole it away from me.
But no, Brian, what is one of your surprising players for the month of April? Like your MVP?
Well, because I only follow one team, and it's these guys here. So it's all anything else. It's all white noise. So Will Myers, and the only reason I say this is that guys walked twice. All right, Okay, so why am I saying that? Well, he's walked twice, struck out 35 times, has 36 hits, 7 home runs, 21 RBIs on a shit team. I mean, and he's got nobody that protects him, so they can, intentionally walk him. But most of the times, for some reason, I don't know what it is. He did hit 28 home runs first time in his career last year. So I don't understand why pitchers are going, hey, let me try to throw it up and in on you a little bit. And the guy he's about 6, I don't know, 20. and he weighs like 880 pounds, and he just crushes it every time he gets the ball. And if you're watching like the replays, you're just distinctive crack. So he's hitting 308 again on a crap team. So he must be doing something right.
Oh yeah, and we kind of talked about it in our little baseball room. Him getting shifted from the outfield to first base has seemed to do a lot for him. I don't know what.
Chance of him getting injury.
Yeah, that, and I don't think he was that good of a defensive outfielder. So
No.
playing yeah, exactly. Having the less pressure of going out to play defense and getting to play first base every day has to do something for his confidence, if that can be measured.
I mean, I wouldn't put the credit on Mark McGwire, their batting coach, but then again, he might be. He's definitely not juicing him up. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Will Myers is a pretty skinny dude, so it's not.
Oh yeah, but
guy's like 27 years old right now. The guy's like at least 5 good years on him before he tanks.
Oh no, man, he's actually younger. He's 26.
26
Wow.
years,
26,
4 months,
26,
and 23 days.
6'3", 205 pounds.
Yeah, he's 6'20", 6'3". That's same thing. But
Yes. But yeah, no, you're right. His walk rate is astounding.
atrocious.
Yeah, 1.7%.
And he hasn't been intentionally walked yet either. So what does that tell you?
And his on base percentage though is still at 322. So as long as he keeps hitting and not striking out very much, he'll be all right. But that might catch up to him.
Yeah, I just don't want him to turn into like a Rob Deere. He has like 200 strikeouts and like 40 home runs. We don't need that.
No, you don't need a Chris Davis, especially if you're rebuilding.
I mean, that's prototypical.
Chris Carter, not Chris Davis.
So,
all right, so if that is everything with that, to our next topic, the effects of the new rules changes. So, of course, we have the new intentional walk rule, which is throwing no balls and just telling him, hey, he can go.
Take a base.
Take your base.
the
Have fun
softball
with it.
rule.
Pretty much.
So we'll back it up. Brian, what do you think about the new rule changes this year? Is it helping the big game of baseball, or is it just kind of
Well, they're trying to shorten the games, but they're all. Yeah, it's a good start, but there's other things that they could enforce, but they really don't. But the intentional walk, I actually kind of like that because is there really, for the viewer who's got an attention span of a fruit fly, to watch the
What'd you say?
pitcher, has an attention span of a fruit fly.
That was a joke. Sorry, bad joke.
Oh yeah.
Squirrel.
So, yeah, squirrel. Where was I? Oh yeah, intentional walk. Bottom line is that's really good. Actually, it was one of the better ideas they've had in a long time. Along with instant replay, that's good too. But the pass somebody, like make them just go right. That's fine.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
And you don't got to worry about your pitcher lobbing four lob balls to the plate, and it's so few and far between where there's an error or the pitcher didn't get it too far enough outside the plate. I think Gary Sanchez did it last year. I think before that it was like 6 or 7 years since somebody hit a ball that was intentional, and it was Miguel Cabrera. So it's just so few and far in between that it just makes sense. It speeds the game up by like 20 seconds, but I'll take it.
No, it pretty much speeds it up to probably 1:30, and you're talking to a guy that does pitch clock for a living, so.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
So it does actually speed it
But
up
even
by
regardless
a minute.
of only 1:30, like it's just kind of boring just watching two people play catch while someone stands there like just doesn't even care because he knows he's going to get to the first base at least. So it's just point to the base, let him go, and let's get the game going. It's just kind of an image thing, I guess.
Oh yeah, but the replay rule is they extended it to the managers until the 7th inning, right?
But then decrease the clock to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
the
as they
replay only
say,
has 2 minutes to figure it out.
Yep.
as
the
they
manager's
say,
got 30 seconds to make the call or not. So you don't have a manager standing outside the dugout for 2 or 3 minutes, just literally just standing there, slowing the game down. So yeah, no, I think the major rule changes this year have definitely benefited, because I still remember last year, I think I was watching a Royals game where it took, I think, 7 or 8 minutes for the replay officials in New York to make a call.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the new replay rule, and of course, like we all agree that having this new 2-minute guideline really helps the speed of play. And another thing too, it's like I've also haven't seen a lot of the replay rule this year, and I think it's because of that, in a way. Not necessarily the whole 2-minute guideline, but the 30-second, let's think about this real quick. Do we want to do it or not?
Sorry.
That's okay.
The Royals scored?
Yeah, the Royals scored. Kane just got a triple.
Oh.
Nice.
Mustaka scored from second. It's now 2-0.
Oh. So they only need to score 6 more runs to win.
Only need 6 more runs, and the ninth inning could not happen at all.
That's sound San Diego Padre, thinking right there. Oh, we scored 2 more. Well, we need 6 more just to make sure we win.
Hashtag the Padres way.
The Padre way. Yes.
Score 2 runs, need 4 more to win. It's like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. And then let's
that's
just
not even guaranteed.
And the other team doesn't have any runs right now. Well, the White Sox don't have anything.
I'm surprised with Nathan Carnes. He's been known to be a little wild and get beat up.
Well, they're pulling Pelfrey right now, so.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but the American League is notorious for leaving their pitchers in with like 6 runs on them, like in the 4th inning. Like you get 6 runs on yourself in the National League, you're freaking pulled. You're done. But the American League, you're like, well, you're not batting, so you might as well just suck it up for a while.
Right.
And just kind of leave them out there, like, please let me go. Like, nope.
No.
You suck up 4 more. It's like, no.
That has to be. That just has to be so defeating. Just know you got beat up in 1 inning, and then it's too early for them to pull you, so you just got to suck it up and just be like, all right. In your mind, I guess you got to go out there and just start a new game. Like, it's tied 0-0.
I was watching this when I think I was like a teenager, long time ago. This is like 1992 Padres, and I had this pitcher named Will Cunane, and he just came up from like AAA like the day before, so they threw him out there because we were already losing like 10-0 or something. So he went out there and gave up immediately 7 runs. So they kept him in. It was god awful. It was against the Cubs too, so it was just god awful.
Oh man!
Watch the guy just soak up, like his ERA is like above
100,
above boiling level. It's just like, oh man,
above boiling level. I like that.
Over the level of boiling water. Yeah, it was just god awful. And it's just like like, oh my god, he just stopped moving, stopped beating him. But no, they kept going.
Yeah, you almost feel bad for the guy at that point. He won him out of the game just so he can just walk away, go to the clubhouse, and not have to think about what just happened.
Go back to the clubhouse and
down a 6-pack. Be like, what was it? What was the Red Sox of like 4 or 5 years ago? They accused some of their bullpen guys and bench players drinking beer during the game.
Oh yeah, and eating fried chicken. Yeah, I remember that.
What else are they supposed to do? I mean, shit.
I have not seen, I will say real quick, I have not seen any beer or fried chicken in the visitors' clubhouse, so there you go.
If you're a starting pitcher and you pitch the day before and you got to go sit out in the bullpen, you're not going to play. Like, why not just throw a little beer in a styrofoam cup and put a lid on it?
No one will know. Our little secret.
Well, that'd be a horrible idea to put beer in a styrofoam cup, first of all.
Well, we've all been there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
I prefer out of a styrofoam cup.
I mean,
I'm more of a red Solo man.
Tulip, but usually I like the styrofoam cup thing. That's proper glassware right there.
Yeah,
I think I bought this off like Amazon, but this is another good Hefeweizen.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, beer out of styrofoam cup. You can pour it and it doesn't sweat, so you're not going to get a mess everywhere.
Completely true.
That is true.
Which, if we're done with our rule changes part, aren't we going into our little beer segment?
Yeah, I was about to say, do you guys want to have a break? But then I'm just like,
let's keep it going.
We're only 41 minutes in. Usually we have our breaks around about an hour to an hour 15. And we're also now talking about beer. So yeah, let's keep on going with this.
It's like we almost segued professionally.
For the first time in our lives.
Yes.
So
hands up, don't shoot.
Oh lordy. We're definitely, the FCC is going to come after us now.
You know what Eminem said about the FCC, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Said fuck the FCC.
I didn't say it, but yeah.
We all knew. So anyways, the drink that I'm having today is by Prairie Artisan Ales, and it's their Prairie Wise, or Weiss, however you want to say it. If you want to add the German, it's a V instead of a W, which is a sour wheat beer, and it's actually pretty good. It's a little. You still have your sour taste, but it's a little lighter than other beers. Like we brought up before the show, the Show Me Sour, which that is a bit heavier because it's a darker beer. I mean, I enjoy it. So.
Prairie makes a lot of good things. I had their Bible Belt series, which I think I had the volume 1 or something like that. That was really good. They have their Americana. I think that's their Saison.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Little tough to get here in Columbia, but not bad.
I mean, it's really easy to get some here. But out of Prairie Artisan Ales, I really do like their Bomb series. I really do.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Their Christmas Bomb was, I think, one of my favorites. I didn't get... I never got to try it, but I wanted to try their Pirate Noir. That was one that...
Did you have the Pirate Noir, but I have the Pirate Bomb. I have the full spectrum of the Bomb series from last year, so...
There you go. Alex, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a Crane Junipucker. Junipucker is a tart saison made with juniper berries. Nice, light, crisp. I actually wrote the recipe.
I was going to ask,
what was that?
I was going to ask, is there anything special about that beer?
Yeah, actually, I wrote the recipe and brewed it, and the guys at Crane liked it a lot, so they had me and my buddies brew it with them. So we brewed it on their system, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And they had a tapping for it and all that kind of stuff. So it was really pretty awesome.
How was scaling it up?
They had us come in, and we brewed all day with them. All of the difficulties and all that kind of stuff. It was really pretty awesome. We were able to just go through the entire process of milling the grains to boil to and putting in fermenters and all that kind of stuff. So it was really pretty cool. And then we even we kegged it a few weeks later, and then had a party to drink it all. And I'm drinking some now.
Well, good. Yeah, I was gonna say I had it. I think it was two weekends ago. I was able to go up there on my friend's bachelor party, and me and another buddy snuck off to Crane before they closed, and I had a glass of it. Man, it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I think I ended up walking away with a Crowler, their Farmhouse IPA, and then I did bought their barrel aged T Weiss.
Okay. Yeah. I really like those guys up there. They've taught me well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Brian, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I'm drinking Omegang Brewery's Nomagang, blonde ale.
There we go.
And I poured myself one of these.
Pilsner Urkel. Okay.
The original,
nice.
As they say.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's original. Close enough.
How are they?
It's pretty good. It's got it's light. It's like, as you can see right here, but it's got its aftertaste is pretty prominent. It's not like if you know when you drink like your lesser tasty brews out there like
you can
PBR.
say you can say the really bad names about them because I just really put it in when I talk about beers.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'll drink it if it's free and it's like somebody's house. I'm not going to stick my nose up. But those crappy ones, like the light beers, it looks like it, like I said. But the back end of it, it has a really, to me, it's a really good dark kind of like burnt taste.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's to me it's very good. It's sitting at 4.4% alcohol by volume, so.
That's a good one you can drink quite a bit of and not be face first on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could probably drink a 6-pack. That'd be fine. You drink a 6-pack of 90-minute IPA from Dogfish. Done.
Oh yeah, and your mouth would be so dried out too. That would be terrible.
Yeah, it would. You'd be like, ugh.
I have to pick a day to drink the Dogfish Head beers because I just want to get it all done. But also I want to enjoy them. And every day this past week has been hell because it's been raining here, almost flash flooding at some parts. And it's just like, I don't want to enjoy it while it's raining, but then again, it sounds delicious. So still,
that's what the weather definitely altered my choice for tonight. I opened up my last Benny Mocha Stout from last year, so it was over a year old of Logboat's Mocha Stout. It was I think it comes in at like a 10.2%, something like that.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a 22-ounce bottle. I split it with my wife. I got a glass, she got a glass. Played it fair. Because I think if I drank 2 of those and drink any more, I'll just be wasted. Honestly, and then my mouth would just be all dried out because the mocha in it, has that coffee bitterness and everything to it, so it kind of just dries everything up. But it's really good. This year they did the 4-pack cans, so they're producing at a pretty high volume.
That's
nice.
Good. That's good. We want all the craft brew business to go up and not get sold.
And not get sold.
Speaking of not getting sold, we talked about it. Yeah, I was about to say that's where I was going to go with it. Wicked Weed. I haven't actually had anything from them, but I knew of their presence and I knew they do it a bunch of sours and stuff. And then I saw the statement from Jester King saying that they're going to no longer work with them. So that's pretty surprising. Well, it's not surprising on Jester King's behalf, but when you're throwing a shit ton of cash at a brewery producing good beer, it's kind of hard to say no.
You can't fault Wicked Weed on it.
No, not at all.
Like if I was making chairs and a chair producer came up and said, "Here's $10 million," or "Here's enough $1 million to make you never work again." Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna take it.
Yeah.
And with the whole, I know a lot of people feel differently about InBev and some of the big beer guys buying out the little beer guys, but I look at it this way: is if the quality can stay the same, quality ingredients, quality beer, and that means I can get them where I live, I'm not going to bitch about it.
The only acceptable argument against it is that if for every dollar that is given to InBev or Miller or whatever dollar is given to them, and then they're going to use it to crowd out other craft breweries, startups, and all that kind of stuff, that would be the problem. But
that's the nature of capitalism, though.
Yeah,
but there's always a market though for the microbrews, anyways. I mean, it's eventually it's all going to balance out. Yeah, they may buy up the smaller ones, but when you buy out the smaller ones, there's people that are inspired by brewing their own beer, and it's like kind of like a dare I say a vicious cycle, but it is a cycle essentially. That person may be bought out, but 2 or 3 people may decide to create their own.
Yep. And there's always going to be a market for local. Maybe those beers aren't going to be able to be sold nationwide, but they'll find their niche local market and be able to succeed at that level. And maybe they might be able to get to a regional level, but if they can find their niche in the local market, obviously that's where you got to start no matter what. You got to be able to sell your beer to the people that live there and then go from there.
Yeah.
And it's not always bad. I think, didn't Blue Moon start out as like a microbrewery and they got bought up, essentially?
Yeah, by Miller Coors.
Right. But you know what? Every time when you have a Blue Moon, it doesn't suck. So, I mean, I like Blue Moon. If I see it there, I'll get it. And to me, it tastes every time. It's never. It's always there. And I guess that's part of the sort of like the problem. Not necessarily the problem, but kind of like a byproduct of a big company. All the beers are going to taste the same regardless of what brewery they come from. With a microbrewer, their IPA may be good one year, and the next year maybe just something about it you don't like. I guess what I'm saying is the big ones aren't that bad, but when I know what you guys are saying, when they start buying up the smaller ones, that becomes a problem.
But no, you're right though. Like the big breweries are going to be able to produce quality brew every single time because of the systems they're on. And some of the smaller systems and stuff like that, they're going to have a little bit of problem with keeping their quality control. But if you're going to be a good brewery, your quality control is going to be your top notch. That's going to be your number one, is making sure your beers taste the same every single time. And when you're a brewery and you start up and you have your IPA taste this way, this batch for 6 months, then 6 months later you have it taste this way and that way, then that brewery they're having quality control issues.
Yeah.
Sounds like cleaning problems too.
Yeah. So you just have to have consistent quality. You got to have good, sensory panels. You got to be able to have guys that can taste that and make guys and gals, not to.
So, I think one of the biggest problems for a lot of craft brewers is, especially in states like Missouri, where you're living in the shadow of AB and they control basically most, if not all, of the lobbyists in the state. And they can control all of the laws and regulations being decided because money talks. And if you have the money, you can make people talk however you want them to. So you're going to have the laws changed to benefit you, not necessarily the small guy, not necessarily the person, the new breweries that are coming to market. So whatever benefits you is going to be helpful. So if you're going to buy up brands, that works, cool. Then you're benefiting off of the smaller guys, but you're also going to make sure that you have your shelf space and you make sure that you have your brand awareness out there more so than anybody else.
Yep. And, that's when, you do go to the grocery store and liquor store and you got 6 coolers full of different types of Budweiser. So it is what it is.
All equally as bad as the other.
Hey, I still drink PBR, so I can't say anything.
There's nothing wrong with PBR. Yeah, you could compare it to Budweiser in a way.
And technically, they won gold, so
that is true.
But
they were first in a bunch of in a race of a bunch of dead people.
Yeah.
The worst thing I think is a beer snob who will just go, "I don't drink Busch Light." Someone who gives it to you, hey, welcome home, welcome to my house. Here's a beer, and you're like, I only drink IPA that's like, free trade and green, no. You just say thank you and drink it. Be polite. Don't be a dick. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, that's when I go back to my father-in-law's house. He's a big Busch Light drinker, and so, I don't bring, I might bring over some beers, and he'll try one. And he'll take a drink of it, and his reaction is if it's shit. He's like, "This isn't beer," and so, I get it. You talk to guys on both ends of the spectrum, but he's older, and so that's what he grew up with. He grew up with beers like that.
I guess I'm just different from all of you because I'm a bastard when it comes to people giving me Busch Light. I'm like, why? It's more of, I don't drink this type of stuff. It's more of, why are you drinking it when you can get something much better? But then they always go back, well, it's cheaper and I can get more for a cheaper price. And I'm just like, but you're missing out the flavors. So.
Well, I drank so much Natty Light in my Warrensburg days that it doesn't matter.
You and me both, sir. You and me both.
I'm pretty sure Natty Light sponsored that town. So
Yeah. Pretty sure if you looked on their website, it was a hot spot for their sales.
Yep.
Wow.
$12 a 30-pack all day. All day.
And if you freeze it, you didn't taste it until it didn't matter.
Yep.
Because you drank so much of it that it didn't matter that it tastes like piss. You still were drunk.
Yep.
And plus, if you guys were in college at that time,
You couldn't afford it. Yeah, couldn't
you
afford
could
it.
afford it. So
Yeah.
you're looking to get drunk. You're not looking to like, I'm tasting the almond notes at the back. No one's saying that. It's
No.
Besides me.
And that
you
was
get
still in
older,
college.
you get more fine. But
yeah, I was buying 30 packs of Natty Light when I was underage in college and just giving the guy $15 and telling him, get me whatever this can get me.
Bill, but you've never broken a law ever, though.
No, I've only been arrested 5 times.
And it was false accusations.
Yeah, they're no longer on my record, so you can't, you can't prove shit.
I was about to say, don't take the plea. Don't take the plea.
No, just
never say anything. Get a lawyer. There you go. That's
that's all I did. And honestly, my parents never found out that I was arrested in college until I think last year. My stepdad and I were like drinking beers, and it was like almost 11, 12, and we've been drinking all day. And I stood up, and both him and my mom looked at me like, "What did you say?" I was like, nothing. So that was a fun family dinner.
Well, it happened 7, 8 years ago. Why would it be a big deal? Unless there's a a common thread of lying and whatever. And then
no.
obviously
No, I just had a job through college, and I just paid for everything myself. And I knew if I told my mom that it would be the same lecture every time, so it was just like it's easier not to tell you.
Until a later date.
Until later when I'm drunk on the couch at 12 o'clock in the morning.
I've been there.
Yeah.
12 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been there. It's like
That too.
I think we've all been
And see, that's
there.
what happened. My stepdad and I started grilling and smoking meats at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon for I think it was like a Sunday night Chiefs game. And so we've just been drinking all day. And then by that point, it was just bullshitting, and it happened.
well, what are they gonna do? What was your mom gonna do? Like ground you? It's like
No, she gave me the same lecture she would have given me 5 years ago.
Oh.
And then that's when I interrupted her. I was like, I knew that's what you would tell me, so that's why I didn't tell you.
When I graduated high school, it was like 2 weeks later. I was in the Army, so I was like before that time I never got drunk until I was like 18 when I was in the Army, and I was in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I had a 6-pack of beer, and I was like a 6-pack of beer right now for me it'd be like back then for me I was like 120 pounds, so it hit me hard it felt like a ton of bricks fell out of the sky and hit me. I was just done. I had to passed out, and surprisingly back then, this was like 1993, but surprisingly that was a time where Sharpie pins weren't prevalent, so that didn't get drawn on.
Oh, well, that's always good.
They threw me in the corner and just left me be.
Win-win right there.
What'd you say, Andrew? You broke up.
Oh, I said win-win right there. No Sharpies
Yes.
on the face, no explicit pictures on your body. So.
Oh yeah, there was no Facebook or MySpace or anything like that. So none of that stuff was getting out. So.
Good old days.
Yeah.
The good old
days.
Lordy.
All right. So you guys want to take a break real quick, and then we can get back at it?
The break after the beer segment. Interesting.
Yeah, because I got to use the restroom.
Well, at least you're honest. And, okay, so actually let's do that. So right when we get back, we're going to talk about you, Phil, on your adventure to a couple breweries this past 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
Alrighty, so...
Yep.
Alrighty, folks, so we'll be right back with the MLBeers podcast. right, when we're back, folks, for the MLBeers podcast with, of course, myself, Andrew, and Philip Corwin, and our two lovely guests, Alex and Brian. So, Phil, we brought it up earlier before the break, but you went on a brewery, I guess, adventure this past 2 weekends, if I'm correct, or past week.
Yeah. Past 2 weekends, I guess. That first weekend, I only hit one brewery up in Kansas City. I was up there for a bachelor party. Went to Crane Brewery, had Alex's Junipucker Saison, and it was really good. And it was my first time out. It was my first time out at Crane, so it was a little interesting experience. I got there like 20 minutes before they closed, so there wasn't a whole lot of customers in there. But had a couple of their beers. I had their Kumquat barrel aged beer, which I had to look up what a kumquat looked like, and it looks like a little. Every time I say that word, I can't. It's hard to say with a straight face.
That's my favorite beer from them that they made, just because the word kumquat.
Yes.
Just because of the word kumquat.
Yes, and it was a really good beer. I had the barrel aged version, and it was really good. And then this past weekend, it was my first time at Boulevard. Expanded into this huge warehouse beer hall type thing, and it was good. It's Boulevard's typical beers, good quality and everything, but that place was insanely busy, so it was just kind of uncomfortable to be there. You can't really sit down and really enjoy it just because you are surrounded by so many people and it's so loud. It's kind of hard to enjoy a beer, I guess. But I had their Show Me Sour, which is the second time I had that. First time I had it was when I did their Boulevardia Taps and Tastes their first year. So I had it then, and it was really good. This version still, it's good. It's a dark sour, and it's a low ABV. I think it's coming in at like 4.3 or something like that. And then I made my way over to Torn Label, and I had their Hang 'em High IPA series, which is really cool because they do a rotating recipe. I think this was batch 11. So every batch is a little bit different hops and stuff like that. And cool thing with them, I was able to trade them some of my Logboat beer and walk away with a couple nice things. I don't really want to say too much just because it wasn't released yet, and I don't want to say they're giving away unreleased beer to customers because I think that's probably, I don't know if it's illegal. Yeah.
You were just fortunate to get that. That's what happened.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be gifted. So, I don't want to say what it was and everything, but the day it's released, I'll be posting I took a nice little photo of it and stuff, so it was really good. I did walk away with a 6-pack of their Alpha Pale Ale, which was canned on 4/18/17. So having really fresh beer is always good. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't been to Torn Label, it's in the Crossroads. Is it the Crossroads district?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
It's kind of towards the end there, and it's kind of tucked away back in by a warehouse. Their tap room's a little weird to get to, but it's a nice little place. The inside's not very big, but they have a nice big patio section and stuff. So if it's not raining or anything like that, it's a nice place to sit. And then I hit a new brewery that I have never been to, and it was a Brewery Imperial, which is I think it was only like 2 blocks up the road from Torn Label. And it has a nice little vibe. They have a big wood fire and everything going inside, wood stove and all that good stuff. The beer was all right. I don't know how long they've been open, so I don't want to say too many negative things about them, but it was all right. It wasn't anything that blew my skirt up or anything like that.
So out of the past 2, you really liked Torn Label over the other.
Yeah, Torn Label is one of my favorite breweries from Kansas City.
I can go with that. I can understand that.
I feel like you have something to say, Alex. Do you have a rebuttal?
No. Torn Label is really pretty awesome. I can't really say bad things about a lot of the breweries that are out there in Kansas City, in the Kansas City area. Crane's probably one of my favorites, but you can't drink a lot of them because of the acidity level on them. So it kind of gives you some heartburn a little bit if you drink too much. But Cinder Block and Torn Label are really, really good. Brewery Imperial has really good food, and Martin City is really good as well. They're really experimental and have really good food as well and a good atmosphere.
I was gonna mention Martin City when they brewed their Hardway IPA.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have a little bit of a lawsuit or something to do with InBev or Budweiser.
Yeah. So Budweiser, InBev, whatever, they actually went ahead and said brewed the hard way or whatever like that, and that is right around the time, like right before that, Martin City came out with an IPA called Hardway IPA, and Budweiser sued them and lost to Martin City, and now they get to keep that name for their IPA. So it's really pretty awesome that a small brewery, when I say small, they're a city brewery. They distribute and they do a lot of good things, and the owners for him are really awesome guy. He's a really awesome guy. His partner is really pretty cool. So yeah, Martin City does really good things, but they beat the big guy, and that's pretty awesome as well.
Whoop whoop. I like that.
But besides that, I haven't really had too many other brewery adventures the past 2 weeks.
I have to say, we bring up the whole brewery adventure thing. And I have to say, I am from the Kansas City area, but right when the craft beer, I guess, explosion started to happen, I was already leaving Kansas City. So I never got to really enjoy all the Kansas City brews besides Boulevard. And the first time that I tried something out of Kansas City that wasn't Boulevard was Crane down here in Springfield when they had their own little craft brew fest. And I actually got to meet the owner, and he was really nice.
Michael's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. But I guess that's the one thing that I miss living up in Kansas City is trying all the different breweries, while here in Springfield, Missouri, we only have 4 now. 3? No, 4, which is Mother's, of course, White River Brewing Company, Springfield Brew Co., even though I kind of don't add them as a brewing company because not that great of beers. And then they have just recently opened Lost Signal Brewing Company, and I haven't tried them yet. So
I'll have to get down there.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only Springfield one I've had is Mother's. I don't think I've tried White River.
White River is pretty... White River has some good things. They also have some flaws, but they can definitely get better.
Yeah, and of course, when you compare Mother's to the other breweries, they're really small. I mean, I believe that White River is in a old mechanic garage, if I'm correct. I could be wrong on it, but they have a really small building. Lost Signals in an old radio station, so it's pretty cool, but still that's a small venue. And then Springfield Brew Co. is a bit bigger than both of those, but not as big and complex like Mother's. So
yeah. And to put it in perspective, Mother's is maybe a little bit bigger, more established than Torn Label, or right about on par with Crane.
Mm-hmm.
Like not with styles or anything like that, but with distribution and size.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and also wanted to give an update. We did hit that six run mark. The Royals did. So I think this is okay.
Good.
Winner.
But no,
wow. You want more?
Always.
No, but no, the breweries in Springfield are really pretty nice, and it's a good time to take a road trip down there sometimes and enjoy them. So,
well, if I clean out my house and everybody else wants to help me clean out my house, I would like to have company, And of course, Brian's like, no cleaning for me. No cleaning for me.
Surprisingly,
I'm good.
But I'm talking about my
Doc.
family. I'm talking about my family, not you all. You guests shouldn't clean,
So surprisingly, ever since I bought my truck back in January, not a single person has asked me to help them move yet.
Huh.
So
That is
What
pretty
kind of truck is
surprising.
it?
it's a It's a 2007 1500 Dodge Ram extended bed.
Well, because it's Dodge, and it'll probably break down, so they don't want to have to go the hassle. So
Oh, problem.
I have a Toyota Tundra, so I'm biased. So
This is the first truck I've owned since high school. High school, I had a 1986 Mazda B2000.
Oh, geez.
oh, those are cool.
Hell yeah, it was really cool. It was a 5-speed, no power steering,
yeah.
no power steering, no AC, no power windows.
Was
And
it white?
No, it was blue. It was light blue. But it was my dad. My dad owns a house painting business, and it was his old paint truck, so it was just splattered with a bunch of different paint. And that truck would probably still be running today, except for I was in an accident, and I was going about 60, and a lady on a side road decided to run a stop sign, and I drilled her.
Mm.
And it turns out that lady was my 7th grade teacher.
Oh. Did you fail 7th grade?
No, but she, I was a little bit of a rowdy kid, and I like to talk a lot. So she always got on to me about paying attention and being quiet. And this was the time I got to tell her to pay attention and not run stop signs. Because I was a little mouthy 17-year-old, and
I had a clap.
You keep on using this word "was."
Was.
My mouthiness has evolved to sometimes I know what to say and when not to say it.
Fair point.
But this one, I remember after the EMTs and everyone came, she was talking to me. I was like, yeah, maybe you should have just paid attention like you told me. And she didn't really like that response.
Mm.
I'm still
Can't imagine why.
I'm still trying to think who it was without
this,
giving up
this
name.
was the 1 year I went to school in Liberty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she ended up having to pay me $1,800, which that truck was not worth $1,800.
Hey.
Still a cool truck, though.
Oh, no, it was really cool. Like I said, if it hadn't been for that accident, it would still be running today, just because by that point I had replaced the clutch, the radiator, the transmission, and a handful of other things. So it would have been running today just fine. And I do miss the stick shift quite a bit.
You don't really see that very often now. Like even with trucks, the stick shift is all automatic. It's like column shifters, 3 on the tree. You're like, "Urgh."
Lordy, you all. Again, like I said, I like you all. All right. So anyway, if we're done talking about beer, and I mean we can go on for days. But
It's possible.
Let's talk about a little bit more hypothetical.
Yes, exactly. Let's get back to the baseball at hand. Besides scoring 6 runs to know that we're going to win a game, let's talk about expansion teams. Where should the next expansion teams go? Who do you think is going to move and all that stuff? And it looks like Brian's already sad by... Is it something about the San Diego Chargers or Padres thinking about moving, or?
Oh, it's not the San Diego Chargers anymore. It's the LA Chargers.
Even though they did copy the LA Dodgers logo, but I digress.
So we can talk about, the last expansion team was, I think, the Marlins, right? No, the Nationals.
Yes, in 2004, I believe.
Yeah. So, we got the Nationals, we had the Marlins.
Was that technically a expansion team since they just moved from Montreal?
Not really. But wait. Yeah, didn't they get I want to say they got to choose from like the Rule 5 area, like kind of like the outlier where they got to choose, I want to say it was.
Yeah, because I think I want to say we went a year or two without having an expo. I want to say there was a small gap between the expos ending and the Nationals starting. But besides that, like where else do you see an MLB team starting up?
I would say Nashville or Charlotte. One of those two.
Okay. Okay.
But then also you do have the commissioner of the league saying that outside the U.S. is also an option with Mexico City and back to Montreal.
Mexico would be cool. You know how much money they would make just to like throw a team in, Mexico City, Guadalajara, whatever. Tons. That's an untapped market right now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you can even expand it to the Caribbean, like Dominican Republic. Holy smokes! Up there.
Oh yeah, no. There has to been at least plenty of talk, at least in the Latin American countries, to expand.
Mm-hmm.
And besides within the U.S. border, I think the only other team that might, a city that would be nice, it would be nice to see if Las Vegas can hold a team.
That would be interesting. I think on that one they're probably going to wait to see how the Oakland or at that point the Las Vegas Raiders do to see how before they make a decision on the MLB side.
But also you have to think about the newly expansion team in the NHL, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. What a great generic name. But you also have to see that too because it's not going to be a relocation of a team. It's going to be a startup. So, I mean, the Raiders are already established. They're going to have that fan base possibly move in a way. But, having a team built up from the ground is going to be totally different than what the Raiders have already have. So it's probably going to look at the Golden Knights than the Raiders, but I know they're going to look at both.
Oh, God. Seriously, the Golden Knights?
Yes.
Watch this. Let me show you something. No, watch this. Hold on. Let me switch the camera over here. I was with the Golden Knights. All right.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So this is the Army parachute team right here. Okay? They are the Golden Knights. The team you just talked about is not the Golden Knights. So when it comes to like the Air Force and the Army, or the Air Force and the Navy, Navy's the Blue Angels, the Air Force is the Falcons. The Army, they have the Army parachute team. So anytime there's an air show, the Golden Knights go out there and they jump and do stuff. And I was with them for 3 years. I was a crew chief. I didn't jump out of the airplane. I just waved at them as they left over the air show, whatever. But
nice.
So there's also the UCF Golden Knights.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's like that's the name you're gonna come up with. It's like, come on, really?
Well, I was hoping
Like,
Golden
like
Nuggets.
the Toledo Mud Hens. They got an awesome name, but then you're what are we gonna name this team? The Golden Knights. Yeah, but isn't that like an Army show team? So what? It's like, come on, figure something out. Like the High Rollers or the I don't know, Drunk College Chicks. Whatever it is, it's just
Drunk College Chicks. I like it.
I was thinking of Golden Nuggets or the Sinners. I mean, pretty basic.
That's probably too biblical, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. City of Sin, yeah, I get it.
The Spankies.
Did you know this? Where the strip is in Las Vegas, it's not in Las Vegas. It's in Paradise, Nevada. So if you go on your phone and you look at it, if you're on the strip, like where the Bellagio is and, Paris, Las Vegas, you're not in Las Vegas. You're in Paradise, Las Vegas. Okay, never mind. That's the graduate height, the graduate American history majors going on here. And I'm like, hey, did you know this? And people are like, don't give a shit.
No, I think that's pretty interesting though.
Sorry.
I will remember that, Brian. I will remember that.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I mean, it's much
So
better
it boils
than.
down.
Hold on one second. We're talking about team names. At least it's better than baby cakes or jumbo shrimp. All right, that's all I can say. Because New Orleans changed their name from the Zephyrs to Baby Cakes, which they have a really disturbing mascot. And
Okay.
I mean, it's really bad. And then
Talk
the jumbo
about
shrimps.
AAA teams. we talk about the Akron Rubber Ducks?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
No, they have.
Unless you got some sort of gimmick, but why would no?
It's the Indians AAA team, and they have like bright baby blue uniforms.
Ooh.
And like neon yellow. It's not pretty.
No.
Oh. No.
There's this big push right now in San Diego to go back to the the 1980s Padres. They had the brown uniforms.
I like
and now
those.
there's people saying Padres go back to it, and the management's going, well, there's not a big push for it on social media. And people are going, yes, there's a big push for it on social media. Go with the brown uniforms. And they're like, well, we don't know. It's like,
Go.
You're getting. There's no other team in the National League right now that has brown uniforms. None. Not like the gold or the gold or the yellow gold and the brown Friar uniforms they used to have. They don't have that now. People are going. Their manager is going. Well, we can't hear the cries for that, and people are bullhorns yelling, brown uniforms, and they're like, we can't hear that, and it's like. It's an easy thing, and if it doesn't work, you know what? You go back to what you had the year before. It's that easy, but like I said, it's kind of like remember, not as bad as the Astros colors were. Holy crap! Remember those? Like '86, I think.
Oh, you're talking about the Tequila Sunrise jerseys.
Oh yeah,
I love those jerseys.
the god awful ones. You're like. The Padres were even laughing at him. We're like, oh, God, look at this guys.
But I do like the old school Padres jerseys. I do like the brown and yellow.
Yeah, it's kind of a funky color. Here it is. We're almost get into the second decade of the 21st century, and we're like, no, brown and yellow would be too controversial. It's like, what are you kidding me? You just imagine if it works, if this works for 2 to 3 years, they could sell those jerseys to people who like it. I mean, are they not thinking, the whole concept here? It's like you could start selling these, well, they were yellow and brown from 2017 to 2020, and they could sell that, but they're not. It's like they're not thinking ahead. It's like I don't know I don't know what their thought process on this is.
I mean, what can you do, right?
I know it's like. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I mean, I'm just saying, brown and yellow.
Why not? We got too much blue and red, or red and blue, depending on your teams. So I was actually looking at some of the names, as Phil brought up the Akron Rubber Ducks, and I brought up the New Orleans Baby Cakes and the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimps, which Jacksonville was the Jacksonville Suns. There's a lot of teams that are going with the two-name mascots, like Binghamton Rumble Ponies, Augusta Green Jackets, which is supposed to be a yellow jacket wearing a Masters green jacket, and then where is my favorite besides those? The Everett Aqua Sox. I mean, most def.
Aqua Sox.
Aqua Sox.
Oh, thank you.
And that team, actually, if I can go back to it real quick, the Aqua Sox are the Seattle Class A team, short Class A team. So, getting back to expansions, though, we talk about Montreal, we talked about Las Vegas, we also brought up Mexico City,
Nashville,
and we also brought up Charlotte. But the teams that we've talked about that are in the United States, Charlotte, Nashville, and Las Vegas, what do we do with their AAA teams? Do we relocate them to the previous team? So just saying, if the Nationals want to move to Charlotte, do we move their AAA team to Washington, to D.C., or do we just disband them? So,
well, I can tell you for the San Diego Padres, their single A Lake Elsinore team is 40 miles north of actually San Diego itself. So I don't really see why they would have to disband them. Okay, yeah, that's 40 miles, and we're talking about if there's a AAA team in Charlotte. So I don't see why they couldn't operate the same space. I mean, if you're looking for baseball, you don't care who plays. AAA is probably your best bet. Cheaper prices, cheaper beer. So why would you, forego that?
Mm-hmm. And Phil, you were about to say something?
Oh, yeah, no. It would be cool to have a MLB team and a AAA team in the same town, essentially, because the MLB game tickets, look at ticket sales from a standpoint, a AAA team is going to be a lot cheaper to go see.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get two of the baseball worlds. You get Major League and then you get professional team. And if it so happened that the professional team in that town is in the same town as their AAA team, could you imagine how easy call-ups would be? Like, hey, drive across town, you got a game tonight.
But you're only gonna be able to get that done in bigger markets. You're only be able to get that done in a Los Angeles or a Miami or Chicago or
Miami.
A New York.
Duck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Like Alex said, no. To have a MLB team and a AAA team, it'd have to be a big market.
Mm-hmm.
It'd have to be like a New York, a Boston, an LA, those type of markets.
Syracuse, that's the AAA team for the Mets, right?
Hold on 1 second.
I want to say.
No, it's the AAA team for the Nationals.
Oh, okay.
The Syracuse Chiefs.
I know that a lot of the AAA teams are pretty close to their I dare I say home base, because I know the Padres AAA teams in El Paso. That's like an hour and a half flight. So if there's anything that comes up, they can, ship off Kevin Quackenbush for the 54th time out of AAA to Major Leagues.
Fun times with Quackenbush.
I know, guy. The guy has an epic beard, but he just can't, pull it together. I don't get.
And that, you bring that up, but also you also have like Omaha Storm Chasers for the Royals, which is only an hour and a half, maybe less for a flight, and then the Memphis Redbirds, which is the AAA team for the St. Louis Cardinals, which is essentially the same length. So, but what were you going to say, Phil?
No, I was going to say, we really haven't hit much of the expansion talk. So, is there really anything else you all want to talk about?
I don't know. I just think another expansion team right now would just dilute the pool even more. I mean, are we talking about just 2, or are we talking 4, or are we talking about 6 teams?
I was thinking 2. I was thinking 2 to round it out to 32, much like the NFL.
See, originally my thought was to have 6 because it would just equal out because we would still have the 3 divisions. But then everybody keeps on bringing up 32, and since I do not like the NFL as much as the MLB, I keep on forgetting that they only have 32 teams and the 4-team division. So I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. But then how would you divide those teams? You have to think about that. So, of course, when you're having your moment when you're taking a shower and you think of all these crazy things in your mind, it's like, all right, the NL Central or the NL North, whatever you want to call it, would be St. Louis, Milwaukee, Chicago, and Cincinnati. Then your East would be the Mets, the Nationals. Then you would have the Phillies. But do you add the Marlins to it, or the Braves, or do you add Pittsburgh to the mix? And then you have to think about, okay, so who's left? You have either the Marlins or the Braves, which then if you think about going west, you automatically have pretty much your California teams plus maybe the Diamondbacks or Rockies, depending whoever you want to take. So then you have Atlanta, Miami, and then the Rockies which would be a really disproportionate division plus the expansion team. So you have to really think about those, which you never think about that until you actually do.
Oh yeah. But besides all that, is there a whole lot else to really talk about?
No, I think if you're gonna go for expansions, you might as well add one team to every division, American and National. You might as well, because okay, you go to 32. I mean, then what? And then you add one extra team, so you have like 5, 5, and 6 as far as your leagues. So you got like 5 teams, and 6 teams. I mean,
well, I also think I lost you all. Hold on one second.
Andrew, you're still here.
Okay, I was like, did I lose you all? I stopped for a moment.
You're still here.
Okay, so Brian, what did you say? Just summarize it real quick.
It should be 6 because let's say you pick the 2 teams you pick, and they're since there is no collective bargaining.
Yeah, the collective
since
bargaining
the way they're
agreement.
structured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, since the way they're structured, if you're 2 teams that come up and they're just just crap, and you're stuck, those 2 cities are stuck with 2 teams that are just terrible, and you're like hoping that. No, so if you get 6 teams, more than likely 4 of them will suck, but those 2 that you actually do may actually do good.
Might have that moderate
Marlins,
success. Yeah,
right.
like the Marlins.
The more teams, if you're going to allow teams, you might as well do 6 and do 36, and that 36, 18 teams each division. That sounds even. I mean,
feasible.
Because
I mean, then you can actually select which city gets that team for that division. Because again, bringing up the whole 32 teams, then separating them by 4, you have to really pinpoint where you want to go with that. Because, like I said, what other team's going to fit perfectly into that South Division, like I brought up with the Marlins and the Braves, and with the Rockies in a way. But I mean,
with a big enough market to support a team too.
That too.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, most of the markets that MLB's already in is the larger markets of the Midwest, East, and West. Because you can't throw an MLB team in Utah, or Oregon, or New Mexico, Kansas, Nebraska. You can't, they just don't have the market support.
Oklahoma City.
Maybe.
That's a heavy maybe, or a light maybe. But I do understand.
But then where are you going to put 5 other teams in the
Right.
So
that's what it boils down to.
So
St. Paul.
So looking at it as a whole, I think right now the MLB is probably fine because they got an even 30, 15 and 15. You don't really want to mess with what's already working.
Because they already each division already plays each other a few times. They can round it out. There's no reason to, I don't know, mess with it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I mean, the structure is already set, but even in the minors. So, I mean, Charlotte, like I said, Charlotte has a team, Nashville has a team, Las Vegas has a team. So they're kind of already set in a way. It would just depend how much, I guess, the city wants it, and depending if a team doesn't want to stay in that city, like the Oakland A's, trying to get into San Jose, but markets and all that stuff didn't really pan out.
And it's funny though. It's like it also really depends on the kind of ballpark they construct. I've been since I live near Miami. I've been to a couple Marlins games, and it's like watching baseball in a Costco. It's god awful. It's just you're in a building. They don't open the roof because it's so humid outside. It's hot, and it's not like going to Petco Park in San Diego where it's open There's kids playing out there out in right field,
Mm-hmm.
and there's craft beers everywhere, obviously. So it's a different experience compared to Miami. Like I said, you're playing baseball in a freaking building, and it's not the same. And I know you guys have probably seen baseball in an enclosed park and in an outside place, an outside stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You know the difference. It's night and day.
It's just livelier. I mean,
Yeah.
you can compare Tropicana Field to that too. I mean, you could say that Marlins Park is Costco, but then Tropicana is pretty much Costco's warehouse. It's even
Kmart.
Or Kmart.
Yeah. Yeah, Kmart.
But then it's then you bring that up, and I'm a fan somewhat a fan of the Japanese Baseball League, the NPB, and it's just everywhere else you have the Tokyo Dome, the Sapporo Dome, and those places are packed to the teeth when it comes to baseball games. But then again, that's kind of the livelihood in Japan, because if I've to really think about it, I think there's a couple more dome stadiums, and that's half their teams are in dome stadiums. Others are in outside stadiums, of course. The Hanshin Tigers play in Koshien Stadium, one of the best stadiums in Japan. But it's just, that's the way that they've known how to play baseball, is in kind of dome stadiums since the 70s and 80s. And, I mean, of course, they use the dome stadiums for other other events, but it's just, they could make a dome stadium lively. It's just the way that they have to put it. And again, I will have to agree with you, Brian. Never been to a Marlins game, but just watching it on TV just really doesn't cut it.
No, honestly, it really doesn't. And don't get me wrong. When they built Marlins Park, it's in the middle of a residential neighborhood. So when you go there, you could park in their structures, or you could park on someone's lawn for $10, half the price, which is cool. But when you get in there, and it loses all. There's a feel that you lose. It's like a baseball park should be outside. It should be to the weather. There should be a chance of you losing a game to like strong winds or weather. Oh, we got to cancel the game, doubleheader tomorrow. With the Marlins, they'll never be like that. Oh, we'll just shut the. Well, they very rarely. Actually, this year they actually open up the park to the roof. They all actually opened it up.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time you don't do it because the Florida's in a subtropical area, so you get rain during the spring and summer every day essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make sense for them to open it up and then for the water to rain out their AstroTurf. But again, I don't want to poo-poo on Marlins Park. If you're in Miami, for a day or two in the Marlins, I would obviously say yes. Go to the Marlins Park and watch a game. It's just not an open field. It's a different feel. It's not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I totally understand. It's, I mean, every time that I go to my job with the Springfield Cardinals, there's just that certain feel that you get to see. You look down, you see the stands, then the field, and then the open space of the backdrop. And that's what Marlins Park is missing because it's in a dome. But sometimes dome stadiums can work depending where you are and know how to do it.
Right, and they're the Marlins. They do have some okay players. I know you're gonna say you're gonna call Giancarlo Stanton an okay player. Okay, he's pretty good, but
I could agree with you in a way because of his injuries, but that's a different time.
He's kind of like Glass Joe. He's just like, oh, my jaw is like,
But
I
All
say
right.
too much. Guys, go ahead and talk. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no, it's all
I have
good.
diarrhea of the mouth.
I was about to say, Alex, do you have any anything to say about the expansion teams, or do you have
Any
any
last
feelings
words?
to it?
No, other than expansion of like, I'm actually more interested in the expansion of beer into the MLB parks, where Major League Baseball is now opening outside of Anheuser-Busch and Miller Coors and allowing other beers to come into those stadiums. Like Boulevard's is a major sponsor for the Royals, and you're going to start seeing a lot more of that, especially on the West Coast, with California breweries getting really involved in their Major League Baseball stadiums. So that's pretty cool for me. As far as expansion of the actual MLB, the league itself, no, I don't think that the league needs to expand. I think it needs to refine its product first, and then start looking to expand. So,
All right, and of course I do really like the craft beer expansion into ballparks. I'm just waiting for who's going to be who besides St. Louis, Colorado, and Milwaukee. Those three big beer hubs. Who's going to go where?
San Diego, by the way.
so actually,
San Diego too. Well, see, the thing is too, I didn't say San Diego because they're more craft. We're talking about just the major, InBev with Budweiser, Coors, and Miller. But
Okay.
So
no, I would
actually,
love to
Detroit-
see that fight.
Founders is expanding, getting a second bar in Detroit, and they're actually pushing to put more Founders into the Detroit stadium. And actually, I just saw pictures and video of the founders of Founders. Redundant, I know, but the founders of Founders were in the stadium at a Tigers game, and they were drinking all day IPA, and it was really pretty cool.
Now that is pretty cool. And I, like I said, I hope that happens more often. I hope that becomes a new trend, so to speak.
Yeah.
Phil, do you have anything to say about
No, both
that?
of you all summed it up really well. Earlier in the past couple episodes, I talked about the Boulevard expansion into Kaufman, which is a very, very good thing. So, no, besides that, that's about it for my last words.
Alrighty then. So I guess I think that's everybody's qualms about expansion, and I think that we will end the episode with that. So, of course, for here at the MLBeers podcast, you can always find us on Twitter at MLBeers podcast, or contact us through email at the majorleaguebeers@gmail.com. Of course, Phil and I have Twitters. Mine is the real AWS13. And Phil, what is yours?
At Philco816.
Awesome. And of course, we would like to thank our guests, Brian and Alex, for joining us. I know this was kind of I don't know really how to put this. I know this is a new thing for you all. First time guests on podcast, probably. I don't know if you guys have done podcasts before, but of course this is a first time for us, and I've enjoyed it. I mean, it's really awesome
Yes.
to get other people's opinions besides ours. So
It was interesting to try to keep my F-bombs to a minimum, because you just can't throw them out there all willy-nilly, because you're like an asshole. So
and
can't
it's
do
okay. It's okay.
Can't throw S-bombs because you're an asshole. I like it. I'm an asshole, definitely. But no, I thank you for having me out. It was a lot of fun talking
Yeah, this is
beer
awesome.
and baseball.
Of course. And
And
what were you gonna say,
Alex.
Phil?
No, I'll just round it out with Alex and Brian. Alex, where can we find some of your? Because you do a blog post, don't you?
Yeah. Scouting the Taps. I need to blog a little bit more. But right now it's Scouting the Taps on Facebook and Twitter and scoutingthetaps.com. I'm actually writing a post about how I'm going to start my own business. So we're going to see about that.
There you go. And,
Definitely, I just want to say this. Definitely, we will support that as the MLBeers podcast. We will support that. We like to
Thank you.
support our friends in their endeavors.
and Brian,
Thank you so much, sir.
Mhm.
where can we find you on the interwebs?
Well, it's actually just Twitter. I have a Facebook, but I'm not gonna say anything because
No,
I'm trying to
that's
keep it
fine.
on the
That's fine.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
DL. So you can find me on Twitter at Senior Lumpy, one word. And yeah, my tweets are pretty. How would I put this?
Vulgar? Are they vulgar?
They're vulgar and they're weird.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to be like, I know they're vulgar. I know I've seen them being vulgar, but I don't know what other words,
Yeah, they're pretty.
other
they're pretty
adjectives
fucked up.
to use. So, and if that is everything, we will end this lovely podcast. The break, I guess, I'll figure out a title for this podcast, but this ends episode 9 of the MLBeers podcast, and I hope you all, the listeners, enjoyed it. So, of course, our motto is, win or lose, there is always booze.